So, tough start for all of you in English. Does the translation work well? Or am I saying all kinds of bêtises that don't make sense? Let's hope this is going to work well. So, good afternoon. The year is 1921, and Groupe Bel is struggling with a problem. During the First World War, Léon had helped supply food and other life essentials to troops and citizens all across France. Well, the problem he had faced at the time was that traditional cheese spoiled very quickly without appropriate cooling. And so Léon's cheeses could not reach those who were most in need. So in 1921, he decided that he was going to create a cheese that was both delicious, nutritious, but also easy to store for longer periods of time. And to do that, he adapted a process that he had learnt about during his travels in Switzerland, a process for melting cheese. And just like that, La Vache qui rit was born. Small individual portions of goodness that are shelf-stable and that are able to be carried in rucksacks and pockets and lunchboxes everywhere and anytime. Now, you might be asking yourself, why the hell is she talking to us about this? Well, simply to underline a very important factor that we have at Bel, a very important philosophy, that innovation, and hence technology, should serve human progress. Fast forward to 2026, and quite a lot of things have changed at Bel. Today, we are supplying 28 billion portions of cheese, of fruit, and of vegetables. We do that across 126 countries in the world, and we serve 400 million consumers. But the one thing that has not changed is our conviction that innovation, and therefore technology, should serve human progress. Today, we find ourselves struggling with a little bit of a different problem. Because the world at 2050 is going to contain 10 billion people. How are we going to make sure that we feed them healthily and sustainably? We don't have an answer to that question at the moment. All we do know is that the current food system is not going to be able to achieve it. Today, we face rampant obesity paired with malnutrition at the other side of the world. We face rampant food waste. 30% of all of the food that we produce in the world is wasted. 30%. And a very large part of our industrial and agricultural practices are having a devastating effect on the planet. All you need to do is to go outside, and you're going to feel it for yourself. So this will not do. This is not going to do. And to help find a solution to this problem, Bel has put itself on a mission. On a mission to lead the global transition towards a healthier and more sustainable food system. And to show the world that a food company can grow both profitably and sustainably at the same time, without having to compromise on either. Now, as you can imagine, that's quite an ambitious ambition. In order to achieve it, we are going to have to significantly up our game. We're going to have to change our entire end-to-end value chain. We realize it's going to be a lot of work. But a couple of years ago, we took the plunge and we decided to sign off on a massive 6-year transformation that is effectively going to transform this 160-year-old cheesemaker from the Jura into a fully tech-enabled leader of healthy and sustainable snacking. So how are we doing that? Well, we're actually transforming quite a bit, but at the heart of our transformation sit 3 different pillars. Transformation of the way that we manufacture and supply, transformation of the way we innovate, and a transformation of the way that we connect to consumers. In terms of manufacturing, our ambition is quite straightforward. We want to massively accelerate on both our productivity and our sustainability targets, while at the same time putting in place an environment for high-speed innovation. Now, in order to do that, we are having to put quite a lot of digitization in our factories. But at the core of the transformation sits the implementation of an MES, or Manufacturing Execution System. The MES takes real-time data directly from our production lines and turns it into real-time insights that our people on the factory floor use to understand exactly what is happening where and what actions they need to take to improve performance. Our first factory, our first fully smart and fully digitized factory went live in Évron in May of 2025, and about 6 months later earned the prize Vitrine Industrie du Futur, which in general I think is a big honor for all those who receive it. For us, it's especially special because it is the first food factory in France to have received this honor. So I would say in manufacturing, we're on the good way. We still have quite a lot to do. We have 75% of our factories still to digitize, but we're on the right way. Supply chain management. In supply chain management, the ambition is to move to a fully interconnected and dynamic supply chain. And to kick that off, we've implemented Kinaxis. Kinaxis platform that is effectively connecting all of the different stages of our supply chain and is able to give us real-time visibility. Now, thanks to Kinaxis, we are already able to improve on our forecasting, to improve on our inventory management, to improve on our waste management, but it also forms the basis of more improvement that is still to come. So beginning of 2027, we're going to infuse Kinaxis with agentic agents and really move to a fully dynamic supply chain with some autonomous agents to make sure that we're able to auto-adapt, and I'm sure you've talked a lot about that today. So in a nutshell, in operations, we are putting in place a future that is more productive, more sustainable, that also drives agility and a faster speed to market. The second pillar is transforming our ability to innovate. Now, this is a big one, because here we are putting in place an ecosystem that is going to allow us to produce breakthrough innovation at scale and at speed, and help us to produce a new generation of snacks that is both healthy, that is delicious, and that is sustainable. And that is an equation that so far has eluded the entire snacking industry. And to do this, we're putting in place two different transformations and two different innovations at the same time. The first is the implementation of a PLM. PLM, c'est un P, aussi en français c'est un P. Un PLM, Product Lifecycle Management, which is a digital tool and a process that connects all of the different stages of the product's life cycle, from product ideation to product design to product manufacturing, all the way to product launch. And how a PLM works is that it creates a central data repository, or a single source of truth, for all product-related data. It then automates workflows, and basically it makes sure that the right data hits the right person at the right moment. Now, what you need to understand is that this is a very, very, very different way of working than we currently have at Bel. At Bel, in order to manage the product's life cycle, we currently have 27 different platforms that are not only completely not connected, but that also occasionally give a completely different answer to the same question. So you could say that there is a little bit of frustration amongst our teams. So having that end-to-end PLM is going to help the teams collaborate more seamlessly. It is also going to put in place the data integrity that the teams need to move with speed. So that's the first part. The second part is that we are putting in place a virtual twin of our brand. Now, this is a real innovation in the true sense of the word, because we are going to be the first in the food industry to put in place a virtual twin that is based on virtual chemistry. And I want you to understand that this is a big deal, not just for Bel, but also for the industry. For the past century, how innovation in food has worked is that we have basically put a very intelligent engineer in front of a food mixer and have asked them to go through hundreds and hundreds of iteration cycles and months of consumer testing. And as you can imagine, this is not very conducive to faster innovation cycles. So at Bel, we decided to speed that process up a little bit and create virtual twins to our brand, starting with the laughing cow, la vache qui rit. This is not a simple digital copy. It is not a theoretical model. It is a virtual twin based on science. It is basically a data modeling tool that is able to create new product formulations and is able to predict what the consumer preference for these new formulations is going to be. And it does that based on millions and millions of data points that we have on our vache qui rit recipes, of which we have about 120 globally. So you can imagine, data integration has been a nightmare, right? And based on those data points, the algorithm is able to simulate product taste, product smell, product look and feel. It allows us to experiment with lower salt levels, lower fat levels, with local milk sources. So basically what it's doing is it's helping us to cut product ideation time by about 95%. And at the same time, paving the way for real breakthrough innovation, which, honestly speaking, is what especially the snacking industry needs right now. So that was innovation. Connecting to our consumers and shoppers. Not quite. Are there any marketeers in this room? Any marketeers? Right, then all of this is going to be complete news for you. So, connecting to consumers and shoppers in 2026 is not a piece of cake. C'est pas de la tarte. Or maybe today it would be better to say c'est chaud. Consumers nowadays, they're equipped with social media, they're equipped with an enormous amount of information. So they have more choices, they have more control, they have higher requests than ever before. I mean, consumer marketing right now needs to be predictive, it needs to be responsive, it needs to be interactive, it needs to be hyper-personalized, and it needs to be real-time. Not quite sure how marketing in your organizations works, but at Bel, this is not how we were set up at all. So what we've kicked off at the beginning of this year is a project to completely overhaul our end-to-end marketing process with the help of AI agents. And in its wake, also digital commerce, because digital commerce it's intimately connected with marketing, and basically the same process applies. And at the heart of this stand three different initiatives. The first is the creation of a central AI-enabled marketing brain that is able to integrate all external and internal marketing data sources and basically power every single decision along the marketing process. Secondly, automation of workforces. Automation of end-to-end workforces, plus the ability to outsource low value-added tasks to AI agents, which basically means that our marketeers get to spend more time doing what really matters: understanding consumers, driving breakthrough innovation, driving breakthrough communication. And the last pillar is the installation of a central content hub, which is going to give us the ability to produce content that is fully localized, that is hyper-individualized, and do that across 126 countries of operation in very high speed. So, in a nutshell, putting in place the future of operations, of R&D, of marketing, and of commerce. But honestly speaking, that's just the tip of the iceberg and the things that you want to present at a big tech conference like this. The honest truth is that in order to make this work, we are having to put in place 25 major digital transformations over a 6-year time period. It's an immense work that covers every single function and every single market of our organization. It includes a complete overhaul of our digital core. Our legacy system consisted of 650 small individual platforms that were democratically spread across all of our functions. We are now replacing that with one fully interconnected core made up of ERP, PLM, and MOS, fully interconnected. It's a massive change. It includes a massive overhaul of our data foundations. Until 3 years ago, no work at all at Bel had been done on data foundations. Nothing. Over the past 3 years, we've increased our data team from 5 to 55 people. And we are now putting in place the data governance, the data structures, the data citizenship, to make sure that all of this digitization actually works. Same applies to processes. Up until very, very recently, 95% of core processes at Bel were not mapped, let alone optimized. Processes at our company existed in the minds of our employees. So if for any reason an employee would leave the company, for example, because they had to retire or any other reason, why would you want to leave Bel? I don't know, they probably retired. There is a very high chance that an important core process was walking out with them. That's not a very comfortable position to be in. Apart from that, artificial intelligence doesn't seem to work very well without structured processes. So, project by project and function by function, we are putting that process architecture in place, and we have equipped an army of about 100 BPOs, business process owners, to be able to manage that. And then, of course, the acceleration through AI that we are doing is, nothing big, because you're talking about acceleration in AI all day. All of the companies here are accelerating in AI. There is one slight difference, that most companies have the luxury of already having their technology layer and their data layer in place before they start that journey. At Bel, we do not. So we are having to put all three in place at the same time. And that's a bit of a struggle. We're actually accelerating on artificial intelligence while putting in place the foundations for AI to work in the first place. Drawback, it gets complex, I get nervous, my team gets nervous, our partners get nervous. The benefit to this is that actually we are able to put an ecosystem in place that is seamlessly able to work together. And that is also based on the latest technology. And of course, it's a massive change for the entire organization. So we are having to manage change for 11,000 people. And ultimately, just like the rest of us, we have to deliver on the budget. So it's not easy. Listen, we're a company of 4 billion people. We're a company of 4 billion net sales. This is a massive transformation for us. I get asked at times, how are you doing it? There's no magic pill. But I think there's 3 different things that we've done specifically well. The first one, we have an ironclad connection between our digital transformation roadmap and our strategic plan. And we have the buy-in and the co-ownership of all of the different functions at ExCo level. So, of course, I get challenged very often on, how are we going to deliver the value? Why are you asking for a budget increase? I never get challenged on the why. I never get challenged on the why. We all know why we're doing it. We all know it's a priority, and we're in it together. Second part. Second enablement is we do not leave any room for compromise. And that's a key message that I want to give you. There is no room for compromise between sustainability and profitability. It's and, it's not or. If there is a solution that only meets one of the two, it's the wrong solution. We need to go back to the drawing board and we need to try again. And that's difficult. I can tell you it's a lot easier to only manage a company based on profitable growth. Having to do both is difficult. But I've seen it is possible. And there is always a win-win solution if you try hard enough. And of course, we have 2 phenomenal strategic partners to work with. We have Dassault Systèmes, whose software we are using for our MOS and PLM, Apriso and 3DS, and we are collaborating with Dassault Systèmes on the creation of the virtual twin. And of course, we have our friends at Accenture who are helping us across all of the different layers of our transformation, the tech layer, the data layer, and the AI layer. And honestly speaking, without whose help, we would not be managing this transformation today. So I know that you're here today, both of you, and thank you so very much. Listen, my final thought. My final message is this, that, you know, the special thing about the transformation at Bel may not even be its sheer ambition, although I have to say that I think we deserve a prize for just that. The special thing about the transformation at Bel, and the one thing that I want you to remember, is why we're doing it. Because we're facing a food system that is broken, and we want to make a contribution towards fixing it, however large or small that contribution ends up being. And to make sure that kids like this also have a future that is livable to look forward to, and not summers of 40 to 45 degrees that we are going to have this year. We are in an enormous position that artificial intelligence is going to give us unprecedented power. The key question is going to be, what are we going to do with it? Let's agree to do something good and make sure that we put in place a future that we and she can be proud of. Thank you.